Hi, good morning everyone. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Perfect. So my name is Neil Brookman. I'm Director of Solution Engineering for a company called Treasure Data, and today I'm going to talk to you about spotting data blind spots. And it's the reason I wore my glasses today, just to help with that. So all of us are aware the virus over the last 18 months has catalysed digital adoption. It's changed our lives across everything, a lot more digital activity. People that weren't used to doing digital activity, such as the older generation, doing food shopping online, people buying cars online. And what that means is we have a trail of digital footprints. So every interaction you're doing across all of these digital channels, you're leaving a footprint of all of this data behind. And in the past, it was very simple. In exchange for value, you pay dollars. So it was very simple. But now people are looking for relevance in exchange for data. Why should I give you my data? What am I going to get back for doing that? Because data is valuable. So there's been a complete shift. And brands currently are living or dying by the experience of their customers. All of the ratings and reviews, we're all there where you go on, you see a product, you start reading reviews, you see 1 star, you don't buy it. So in order to get those, all of the experiences up for customers, to get those ratings higher, you need to provide that customer experience that your customers are looking for. And to do that properly, you need to start to look at all of your different touch points and start to build the loyalty of all of your customers. So what is loyalty? What does it really mean? So loyalty is an ongoing positive relationship between your brand and all of your customers. It's what drives repeat purchases. It's what gets people coming back into your business. And it builds that trust level where people are then leaving positive experiences. They're sharing all of your experience across social media and helping you to generate more and more customers. And what are the key drivers of loyalty? So the first one is great customer experience. So we've all been there where you purchase a product, you need to send it back or you need to phone the call center, and it's a very negative situation. And that stops you being a customer moving forward. And then on the flip side, you look at customers like Apple, and every time you go to an Apple store, there are hundreds of people in there. They know that the service is good. Any issues with the product, whilst you've paid 3 times as much as other brands, you know that you're getting that experience and that it's going to be positive for you. The second is looking at a long-term strategy, not a short-term success. We've all been there where you've got a signing-on bonus. As a new customer, you get a 20% discount. Then when it comes to renewal, your prices have gone up and new customers are able to get a discount. And then you churn and go with someone else to get that loyalty discount. So you need to look at that long-term success. Don't just try to get people in top of funnel and then after the end of a year or over a few months, they start to move to your competitors. And then the key to loyalty is looking at the customer journey. So nowadays there are lots of different channels, whether it's physically going in store for a retailer, whether it's being on a connected device, it could be on their website, on the mobile app. It could even be during the day you're on your work laptop and then in the evening you're on your tablet. So you need to look at this journey, see how people are going across the journey, what touch points are they using, are they being treated as an individual across all of those journeys, or are you treating each different system as a separate entity? And then the last one is employee experience, which a lot of people will say, why employee experience? But that's very key. You need to make sure that your staff are happy, because not only does that reflect with customers, and having happy staff means happy customers, but people also see how staff are treated. We're all aware of companies where they're unethical, or we see stories in the press where the staff aren't treated, and that's very key. And Richard Branson has famously publicly quoted that his customers are not number one for him. His main focus is his staff, and knows that the happy staff is happy customers. So why is understanding customer touch points important? Because there's no way to improve the customer experience unless you know what your customers are doing. Are they going across multiple journeys? Are they going to the website, coming back a few days later, then they're out traveling on a mobile device, then they go in store, then they come back to the website, then they go to social media, see an advert? Unless you know how that journey is working, you can't improve it. How do you provide better messaging across all of these channels? How do you get an uplift in your ad spend across different channels? How do you improve that conversion rate when people are coming to the different channels? Do you know if people are always coming to the website but they've always looked in store first? So bringing all of those different channels together is essential. And the world has become a lot more digital focused over the last 18 months. We've been moving that way, but it's accelerated massively. And there are a lot less real interactions. People can't go in and touch things, so they're relying on information online. Do I have a full product description? If you just have a very short description, people will go to another website and potentially buy if they like the look and feel there. So we need to make sure that all of that data you have, that you're able to use all of that data to provide an exceptional experience across each and every channel. And as part of that, there are lots of different types of data. So you've got data across all of your different channels. So as I say, not just your digital, but your offline channels, data from your CRM, data from IoT. If you're in a media video on demand, you've got all of the connected devices, all of that data. If you're in the automotive world, you have connected car information and telematics. This is all data that you can start capturing. Then we're looking at online and offline, people physically going to the store. Are they filling out a form online, going in store? Are they interacting? Do you have a loyalty scheme? Can you tie that online and offline experience together? And then a consumer could be anonymous. At first, they're navigating across all of your websites. We don't know who they are. They come back for repeat sessions, and then they do something to make themselves known. It could be filling out a form to subscribe for newsletters, so we get an email, we know who they are. It could be that they've requested a brochure. So any way that they've made themselves known, we can then look at that journey from anonymous to known and see what's converted them, and then use that information to convert similar users from that anonymous to a known journey. And then being able to store data in any format. You have all of your different systems, they all have data in different structures. We need to pull all of that in, and we need to get sense of that data and put it in a format where we can start to build a 360-degree profile. So all of their PII data, all of their behavioral data, every single interaction, let's have all of that in the 360-degree profile. And what we typically see are 5 different pots of data. So against a user, you have data for personalization. So things like name and email address, that we're going to push that data to your email service provider, and we can personalize the email and make sure it goes to the right person. Then we have data we're using for segmentation. We want to treat all of our customers as individuals. So if we could have things like loyalty status, so let's segment across our bronze, silver and gold loyalty members, or maybe looking at RFM score, and let's treat people differently. Then we have data for security. So all of the GDPR consent that you're gathering, fine-grained consent, put all of that in your customer profile, and then we can use that data to enforce security when we're pushing data out. So has somebody revoked all of their consent for being targeted with emails? And let's make sure that we don't push any of those users' data to the email tool and suppress anything that's there. So we're making sure we've got that governance and we're on top of everything. Then we have behavioral data. So let's look at all of the behavior. Are people going to the website? Are they interacting? What are they looking at on the website? What types of products are they going in store? What have they done as purchases? So the entire historical behavioral data. It maybe you've got 10 years of purchase history. And an example is people that have babies and go to mother and baby sites. They have a baby, they purchase things. It may be 3 years later before they come back. They're not going to come back in between. So if you have that historical data, we can immediately start to profile them as soon as they come back and start to push them through that purchase journey again. And then lastly, we see all of the machine learning information. So we have all of this big data coming in, millions of customers, we've got billions of records coming in, we build that 360-degree profile, we've used data science and machine learning to get some intelligence. Let's calculate some propensity scores. So it could be propensity to churn, propensity to purchase. Maybe we're looking at all of the historical data and we're calculating a lifetime value and a predicted lifetime value. So we have all of this information that we're able to use to segment. So find me all people in my my profile list that are a gold member that have been active on my website at least 3 times in the last 30 days. They haven't made a purchase, and we see they have a high propensity to purchase. Let's push them through a nurture campaign across all of the different channels. And if you're like many brands, you'll have assembled a full stack of best-of-breed engagement tools. And all of those tools have their own data and insight engines, and they're all talking about how to engage your customers and make them feel like the one and only. The problem is these are all siloed. So you're treating each of these different channels, and you're not treating that full omni-channel experience. So a customer could be getting lots of emails, they're getting lots of information from other areas, and you're not joining all of the dots together. And as you're collecting more and more data, you're putting more and more tech stacks in, your silos are getting bigger and bigger, and that starts to become a really big issue. And as an example, we have lots of silos. So you have your CRM data, maybe you're using a DMP for your online advertising. We've got third-party data enrichment, so all of this customer data is siloed. Then your digital ad data. So are you advertising on your own website? Are you advertising on third parties, on social networks? So all of that information is in additional silos. Then all of the transactional. So your e-commerce site, we have all of the purchase information, all of the behavior. Then we have social, not just social advertising, but social listening. Are people talking about your brand? What's the sentiment? Are they talking positively or negatively? If they're tagging you on Twitter, are you aware of that information? Do you have their Twitter handle within your profile, when we can assign all of these Twitter notifications to that profile as well? Then we have product data. So we have all of the information on the products that you're selling, and we can see behavior from purchase. So we can see which customers are purchasing which products, and we can get some insights and intelligence from that. And then lastly, all your mobile app and your web content information, all of your analytics. So these are all silos. And wouldn't it be great if we could join all of that data to build a unified profile? And a lot of you today are probably thinking, we have a CRM, we have a DMP, we may have a CDP as well. But why do we need all of these tools? So they all have differences, as we can see here. But the key is in the middle, that these are all here to improve customer experience and segmentation. A CDP will fully integrate into all of your sources, will store anonymous and known customers, build that unified profile across any attribute, so that full identity resolution. CRM is there to manage all of your data. It's mainly managed by your sales team, and data is input directly into the CRM. And then a DMP doesn't have very good identity resolution, but is very good at tracking anonymous users and help for advertising as part of that. But they have a short-term storage. So let's combine all of those systems together and start to get that complete picture. And these are some examples of what our customers tell us. So the contact center is not getting a complete picture. They've got a single view of the customer, and they're not getting any of the insights that they need across the board. My team do not have access to all the data in real time. They're getting data that's 72 hours old. So we're doing a retargeted campaign on social media, but it's taking us 72 hours to get that data out there. Someone's browsing an iPhone, we can't retarget them for 72 hours. And more importantly, they purchased it yesterday, so we've just spent ad revenue by doing that. So bringing data together and having all of that real-time interaction from data coming in and data coming out. And more data means more opportunity. So you have all of these different types of data coming into the funnel. We need to integrate them and provide all of that insights and intelligence as we go down the funnel. We can then start giving touch points, that real-time and predictive insight to power. So we need to build that single view of customer, bring all of these different channels, all of this different intelligence, all of the best-of-breed systems you're using at the moment that have all of their expertise in certain areas, bring it all together. As long as we have a way to identify that customer, whether it's a CRM ID, an email address, a telephone number, a persistent cookie ID, we can start to provide all of this intelligence to provide a better customer experience. But as digital transformation starts expanding, all of the amount of information you have available, it's starting to create silos, which is a big issue. And you're missing out on that critical intelligence. So a good example I use as part of this is an abandoned basket campaign for retailers. We always have customers coming to us saying, we want to do abandoned basket. So if someone puts a product in their basket and they haven't purchased in 60 minutes, we want to push an email to them to get them to purchase, more often than not with an offer. But if we're not bringing all of this data and we've got silos, what happens if that person tried to purchase and they had an error on the website? As they went through the checkout process, they tried it 3 times, they physically couldn't purchase because of an error. They've now been triggered an email, they say great, 10% off, they click the email, they get the same error. You've got a huge negative customer experience. They're never coming back to your brand. But if we had all of this information to hand, we had all of your weblogs in there, we're tracking that they had an error, we can in real time segment and put that particular user into a different segment where we push that segment to the call center. So then the call center can then take some insights from that. Are they a high value customer? Do we want to do this transaction? Is it worth us spending time and money to physically call them to do the transaction? And they can make that decision rather than just triggering an email that causes a negative. And we can also then trigger alerts automatically to the tech team to say, there's been an issue, we need to get this fixed. And we've done a recent research of over 200 CMOs across Europe and the UK and found that just under a third of businesses believe they are exceeding or significantly exceeding the expectation their customers are expecting. And this is a big challenge. People know they have to have good customer experience. People are no longer brand loyal. People are willing to pay more for a particular product if they know they're getting that customer service. And with systems like Shopify for retailers, where people can spin up a website from their garage, make it look very professional, they can sell products and do drop shipment, there's no customer service. We've all been there where we've ordered something and then 2 days later they send an email saying, we're really sorry, that product was out of stock. We've got a data silo, we need to bring all of that together. And a good example of that we get asked for a lot is sort of beyond marketing. People think of customer experiences just across marketing. How are they acting on the website? You need to give your call center agents the same view as everybody else. So if somebody is phoning the call center, they've got that data to hand in real time. They can see everything that's happened. Has somebody just been onto the website? It may be that we're a telco. We know this is an existing customer. We can tell they're a customer when they call the telephone line because we've got their call identification. We can see they've been a customer for 5 years, but in the last day, they've A, called a competitor sales line, and B, they've been on the website looking at how to transfer their number. As that call center agent is answering the call, we've got a next best action. Do we push them through a retention campaign? Are they a customer that has missed their bills 4 times in the last 12 months? They're a low value customer, let's let them churn. So all of those decisions can be made. And these are some benefits and use cases of bringing everything together as this call center example. So having that single customer view across all of the touch points, not just the CRM data, the real-time access to all of that data, to improve satisfaction with routing based on customer categories, reducing the time to resolution, so increasing that first-time call resolution. That provides a better customer experience and it's reducing your costs. We're preventing churn. We all have been in a position where we phone the call center and then you don't get a response and then you phone the call center again 2 days later and then a week later and it never gets resolved. And what they say is, I'm waiting on this department to get me the information. And then behind the scenes, they're requesting data from the IT team and they're being told that's a week to get a query, get the data transferred over. So having all of those silos is an issue. And something that can be done if you have all of that information, just things like intelligent call routing is a huge thing. Somebody is phoning the call center, we know their telephone number, we know the customer that's calling, we can get some intelligence. Is this a customer phoning from Germany to a global company? Let's route them to a European agent. Due to GDPR, other issues, let's route them based on security. It could be that we know exactly why they're calling. It could be that we know this person is a high-value customer, top of our pseudo-loyalty scheme, because we've got all of that machine learning and insights. So let's route them to the appropriate agent and give them that positive experience. And by bringing all of that data together, connecting all of those digital breadcrumbs, we can connect the customer to view their customer journey. We can provide that omni-channel experience. We make sure we're treating them as a customer across their journey. We can enable real-time data flow through the business to give that, again, better customer experience, but also to give the internal business users the information they need. Let's segment in real time. As I say, let's not start doing a retargeting campaign to people that have already purchased, because that's costing money and reducing your customer satisfaction. Let's use all of the data to provide a connected view of your customer. And let's connect to your channels to provide that consistent messaging. So as an example, this is one of our customers, Shiseido. So they had difficulty keeping up with the pace of digital insights from all of their online loyalty app. They were using guesswork to deliver offers. They were doing recommendations with guesswork as well, and that was a huge issue for them. And the internal data warehousing and ETL tools were fast too slow. It was taking them days to get the information. The marketers were requiring information to do campaigns quickly, and it was taking them sometimes weeks to get the information they needed. So they brought Treasure Data in to help with their loyalty program for upsell. And the results of this were an 11% company revenue increase, 20% in-store revenue per loyalty program member, and a 38% net income growth year on year. Just by connecting all of their data and giving the insights and improving the speed of having the data at hand for all of their internal teams. So you need to make sure you use every bit of data to provide the best experience for each and every customer, treating each one as an individual and removing data blind spots. So just before I hand over to questions, a question we get asked a lot is there such a thing as too much data? Particularly from marketers. They hear less is more. We don't want to have all of this noise. What if I've got all of this information and I don't know how to work it? But the key is to have the data in the right format. Have all of this information coming in. Let the machine do the heavy lifting. You've got billions of records coming in on a monthly basis. Let's get some intelligence from that. Let's calculate a last active on the website, last active in store. Have that as an attribute that your marketers can use to build audiences. Find me all people that haven't been active for at least 30 days. Let's build all of those lifetime value scores. Let's do calculations. So the more data you have, the more intelligence you have, and the more your marketers can do a connected experience, that omni-channel experience, and get to that holy grail. So in our opinion, it's not less is more. It's definitely more is more, but in the right format.